Hi, welcome back to the Death Ray Cat channel. I'm Nico. I've had a few requests for the Poison Ivy version of Peter Gunn on the Death Ray Cat Patreon. This recording appeared on the Shots in the Dark compilation, and it was also a bonus track on a reissue on Big Beat from Badsville. The tune is by Henry Mancini, and it was famously covered by Dwayne Eddy. I've done a video for that version. You can go check that out. In the Dwayne Eddy version and the Mancini version, there's a big sax part taking the lead, but in the Poison Ivy version, she's playing that sax part or doing her version of it on the guitar, so that's what we'll look at today. So this should be quite a simple tune. There's one thing to think about, and that's the tuning. During a song there's some real low notes being played. It's suggesting that it's either being played on a baritone, or there's other ways around you could do it. You could tune your guitar down a few steps. I think it's being played on a baritone as a separate part, but what I wanted to do was do a version on a standard tuning guitar, so you don't have to worry about tuning. There's two guitars going on and a bass in this recording, so I think there's one standard tuning and one different tuning, but as I say, we'll stick to one tuning for now. If you want us to look at the baritone version, let me know, maybe we can do another lesson. And when it does get to those low notes, there's some other options we can play with, so I'll show you those as they come up. I'll show you pretty much the first half of the tune, maybe a bit more. We'll see how we get on with that. If you want to see some more, let me know in the comments and I'll do another lesson. So the cool thing about this is the main riff, or the rhythm part, is exactly the same as the Dwayne Eddy version. So if you already know that, we don't need to worry about that. But if you've not seen it, I'll go over that quickly. So we're going to be using the E and A strings here. We're going to start on the low E string, and these notes are all played at the same rate. We're going to start with two open E's, go to the second fret and then play an open. Then we're going to go to the third fret and play an open. And then to finish, we're going to play the open A and then finish with a third fret there. So slowly. There we go. So that's one guitar part. By the way, let's talk about tone. So I've had fuzz on there. The lead part, I can hear a lot of fuzz going on. That rhythm part there, we might be better off playing with a bit of tremolo, maybe a little less fuzz, and just a bit of overdrive. I've also got the reverb tank on all the time. That's just my version of what I think might be going on in the recording. That's with a bit of tremolo. But for the main lead part, like I say, I'm going to go for this fuzz. I've got this phantom fuzz here. It's based on a 60s kind of fuzz, so one of the more tinnier kind of sounding ones would work nicely. So let's look at the lead part. We're going to start off with an open D, and the way it's played is kind of got this skipping kind of rhythm to it. Ba-da-da. 3 hits there, and there's a couple more hits there, and then we're going to land on the second fret on the A string. Then we do that again. It's a slightly different rhythm. All the tabs, by the way, are going to be in the Patreon. Links for that below. So this time there's a slightly different rhythm again. Do that skipping 3 on the open D, then another 2 on there. Then we go into the second fret on the A string. Now we're going to go up to that octave of that there, which is the 4th fret on the G string. Then we're going to go to the 3rd fret on the D string. Then we're going to go back to the 2nd fret on the A string. Then we're going to go to the open D. 2nd fret on the D. Then we're going to go up to the 3rd fret here. 4 times, 1 on each beat. Then we got another kind of, another skippy part. Then back the way we came. Then we're going to go to the 3rd fret on the E, and then the 4th fret. There we go. This is the part where we might have to get a bit creative with what we do, because we're in standard tuning. The notes you hear are lower than what we can reach, so we've got a couple of options, and one of them is to skip that part totally, which is fine, because later on the same part is played but higher up on the register, and nothing is played during this part, so I think that's fine. Another option, you could play the low open E notes. That kind of still fits. What I would like to do is use the Bigsby to get those lower notes or close to them. That's what I'm going to do. It's not exactly how it is, but it's like a compromise. Something like that. And then that happens pretty much the same. Like I say, I've tabbed it out so you can check out those slight differences. Then we're going to get to the part with the stops, so. It's all based around those few notes there, and the 2nd frets and open D. So 2nd fret on the A string, then we go up to the D string, 2nd and then open, 2nd on the A, then 2nd fret on the D. Then it kind of repeats up to a point. We're going back down to the 2nd fret on the A. And then playing that twice. So we got this. Then we start off the same way again. But this time we're going to descend all the way down. Again, we're at a point where on the recording, got some lower notes. So again, I'm going to try using the Bigsby here, or you could just play those open E notes. Like that would be fine. I'll just do a little dip there, it takes it down to the D. I think that's acceptable. So now we're on to the 2nd part of this lead part. I'm changing the sound slightly, I've taken the fuzz off, I'm going for more of a tremolo sound. I've got a bit of overdrive on there, but hopefully it's quite a natural sounding thing, and I've still got the reverb on there. So what we're going to do now is the exact same tune, more or less, but higher up on the register, an octave higher, so we're not going to worry about those lower notes. And these first notes, they're taken from the E7 shape. So if you see me making a full E major chord while I'm playing that, that's just how I remember how to get to those notes. You could just kind of play it like that. That's up to you. If we play it with the full E, you can kind of chip into that as well if you want. Yeah, we're based around that chord, so I'm just playing the top 3 strings. Again, all the tabs are in the Patreon. Taking off that little finger to play the top 3 strings of that E chord, E major. Then we're gonna do something similar there. Then we're gonna go up to the 7th fret on the E string, and then the 6th fret on the B. Okay, and then we're gonna go to the open B, 3rd fret, 5th fret, then up to the 6th. Now this part is played slightly different each time. So the first time we jump in between the 6th fret and the open B. Then we're going back to the 6th for the next part. Kind of playing the 6th a few more times, then going back the way we came. And then we're going down to the G string, playing that open, and then playing the 1st fret. So, altogether that little bit should be... There's a little space there where we were doing the low notes before. That's why I think we don't need to worry about it too much. So that's almost repeated the same again next time, slightly different. Just a slight different rhythm in that 6th fret to the open part. So I reckon you can play around with that a bit. Now we got the bit where we're going to kind of replicate that. So we're going to play it up here. We're going to base it around that E major chord again, but just taking the the top 3 strings. So it's almost like they're your main notes there, the open B, open E, 3rd fret on the B, open B again, and E. They're like the main notes we're playing, but because we've got the chord to back it up, we can kind of hit a couple of strings at the same time and it'll sound cool. There we go. And then landing on that open B, and I've got the 1st fret on the G down there. And then 3rd time round. So on the way down here, there, we're kind of following this minor pentatonic scale. That's good to know if you know it. If you don't worry. So we're going to follow that from the top E all the way down to this 2nd fret on the D string, and then we're going to go back up, and then when we get to the 2nd fret on the G, we're going to bend that a bit, that kind of thing. Cool, then we get up to the next part, which is pretty much playing the top 2 strings of an E chord. Again, there's a couple of ways to do everything. I've been playing it with the open top 2 strings for the first part. Then with your 1st finger, covering the 1st frets on both strings there. Then for the final chord there, I've been playing the 3rd and 4th frets here on the G and B. Could just play with this shape here on the 5th and 4th frets on the B and G. If you don't want to think about changing that shape, you're just moving it. I guess if we were in tune on a baritone, we would be able to take that E major or the E shape and reach the lower note. So that's everything I've got tabbed out so far. So that's as far as I'm going to go with that lead part. If you want to see some more of the tune, just let me know below. I've got the Patreon with the tabs there. I might have a backing track as well. If you want to help me out, just go on there and sign up. If you want to buy some merch, I also do one-on-one guitar lessons, so get in touch if you want to learn some stuff. Thanks a lot, see you in a bit.